Where are you going with your podcast, and why did you originally start it?
Okay, so I guess I'll start with where I started, but I very like abridged life story. I grew up in a very bad part of Corpus Christi, Texas, South Texas. Like housing projects bad, really rough. Um, my dad was like working a bunch. My mom is, crazy. And so it was kind of a rough upbringing. With that, I always knew I wanted to be successful in some way. So
When you mean crazy, what do you mean?
Like Lakeway drugs, I would say, like
Your mom was doing that?
yeah,
Okay.
like Lakeway type. I don't know. I don't want you guys to get like flagged or anything for naming drugs, but yeah,
She was just
Send it.
like pills,
Okay.
like things that like were prescription but were being like abused, I would say. So, I kind of saw that. I knew I didn't want to be like that. I saw my dad, who was, a very hard worker. His mom was an immigrant. Like he saw how hard she worked, and it was kind of like a chain of events like that. So I always tried to like emulate him. So he, while I was little and while we were living in that area, started to go to dental school, like paid his way through like college, through school, like working 3-4 jobs at a time. Super admirable. And then I went to college as well, paid my way through that, and ended up getting a degree in biomedical science and chemistry. But I hated it. It was terrible. I was so bad at it. I just like was on so much Adderall, and I made it work. So I'm generally, I guess, just smart. I don't know. But I was going to go to dental school, kind of following his footsteps, and I could not. I was like, I'll literally off myself if I go to any more school. After taking OChem 2, I was like, there's just no way. So I always liked doing sales. When I was in college, I worked like 3 sales jobs to pay my way through. And so I was like, how do I combine the two, medical and like sales? So I went into med sales. Also hated that. Very like misogynistic, like a ceiling for success unless you like slept with someone or your dad was like, I don't know, someone super rich. And so I got an offer to do door-to-door sales, and we're almost to the podcast. We're like getting there. But my parents freaked the fuck out. My dad was like, you're going to leave medical sales to knock doors. That's insane. Like, what do you mean? That's unsafe. And I did it anyway. I did that for about 2-3 years. I ended up being the first girl pretty much within the company at all. And my whole concept was, let's go knock doors in the hood where no one wants to go and no one wants to knock, but where they need security the most.
Untapped market.
Exactly. Yeah. So my poor reps, but they were doing really well though. They were crushing. I would pack them up and take them to the worst parts of the US, and not even just Texas, like the border. It was like gnarly. But yeah, no, I have like a lot of crazy door-to-door stories. Like this one guy, real quick, I was training a rep because I always had like 2 or 3 reps in the back of my car at any given moment. So I was trying to grow my team and obviously make money. He opens the door, very like lovely bones vibes, like creepy, like big glasses, like quintessential, like probably don't go in his house. I open the door and there's a bunch of clowns everywhere. No furniture, just paper-mâché clowns that he made himself.
Oh, I was picturing human clowns.
No,
like a ton of clowns in his house.
Kind of sick. I don't know. But no, just paper-mâché.
That would be less creepy than paper-mâché.
Yeah, he took the time. He really like took the time and put some effort into like making these customized, like there was like a Spider-Man clown, a Batman clown.
Themed, okay.
Yeah, it was cute and fun. And so the girl was like, we're not going in, right? And I was like, yeah, we are. We're going to sell him. Like, we're going in the house. Are you kidding me?
That guy needs security.
Like, he's
got to
crazy.
protect his clown.
Exactly. And he's crazy. He's going to buy, obviously. So we go in. There's no furniture, just a white folding chair. And he's like, have a seat. And I'm like, all right, sure. I start signing him up, run the credit check. He fails, of course. So we leave. But yeah, that was one of many crazy experiences. Should have known the guy with the multitude of paper-mâché clowns would have failed credit and had no furniture. Could have even gone to cons and like financed, He had like a folding chair, so should have known. But
you should have went to his neighbor's house. They need security from him.
yeah, I'm like,
They're like, that guy next door is gonna fucking
kill me.
kill
Do
me.
you know he has fucking clowns in there?
Wait, that's honestly so smart. I just go back. That's honestly so smart.
Yeah, the whole neighborhood. You're like, have you seen inside this guy?
Yeah.
I think you might need.
You sell security. We need to protect ourselves from clowns.
Y'all have kids, like, you might want to get some security, like, kind of crazy.
Definitely.
But anyway, so after about 3 years of doing that,
It was a long time.
it was, yeah, and it was very stressful because there was no one really
That's a hustle.
above. Yeah, it was one of the hardest, maybe the hardest thing I've ever done, but also like the biggest payoff, I would say. But there was no one really above me to like train me or like help me or ask questions. So because it was kind of a pyramid scheme at the end of the day, which is why I left. But just figuring it all out on my own, growing a team of like 30 reps across 4 different states, completely 1099, no salary. It was a great learning experience, but I needed a creative outlet or I was going to probably like roll myself off a bridge. So that's where the podcast comes in. My friend Justin, who records here as well, actually, had always told me that I should start one because I have a bunch of crazy stories like the one I just told you. And I just never really knew where to start. And I was always so busy with everything else, obviously, that I just didn't have the time. But I went on his podcast. I recorded my first one here, and the rest is kind of history. So that's how it all got started. It was like for my own sanity and door-to-door sales.
How long have you been running it?
A little over a year. I would say like a year and a half, maybe-ish. Maybe less. I'm not quite sure, but about that.
So now you have a content house.
Mm-hmm.
What can you explain what that is and how it operates?
Absolutely. So when I do something, anything at all, I become an actual psychopath about it. Like I want to be the best at it possible that I physically can be, like in door to door. So with content creation, when I was doing the podcast, I was like, okay, how can I add on to this and like expand, I guess, and not just have a podcast, but also collab with more people and make it worth their time too. Because obviously I'm still growing. You know, I don't have 1 million followers, so I want to make it something that makes sense for someone with a million followers to come to. So I had a girl on my podcast. Her name's Brandy, and she's really big on OF, and I'm not sure what else she really does, but she has like, I don't know, like maybe 500,000 followers. So, and she had reached out to me, which was really cool to come on the podcast. But I went to LA, was invited to a content house there, and I came back, had her on, and I was like, no one does anything like that here. So we kind of joined forces and had the first one. And the premise initially was like bringing together girls who have OF in a place that's not catty, where you feel comfortable, where there's no guys that make you feel weird, and just kind of like a safe place to create content. But then I thought to myself, okay, well, I don't do OF. Like, and this will help me grow my following, but like, to what extent? Like, it's going to be a bunch of dudes who just want to like look at pics of me, but it's not people who actually care about what I have to say necessarily. Not saying that's the case for everyone, but at one point my following was like 95% male, which is cool, but at the same time, like girls would be nice as well. So that's when I had the idea to start the Alternative House, which is like a pop-up content creation, content house concept. So kind of expanding on the brand of the podcast and keeping it in the same name and everything. I was like, what if I start in Austin and I don't just bring in OF girls, I bring in comedians and like just general content creators, food bloggers, whatever it might be, and have everyone collaborate, because I haven't seen that really done many times at all, just to put everyone together like that. And ever since then, it's just been growing. So I've done it in Nashville now, in LA, here in Austin, obviously. We're going to do one in Miami in a few days, which is exciting. And I'm going to start getting brands involved, having them do like partnerships and sponsoring them, stuff like that. So, yeah.
Question. So how is it a pop-up? I assume you're not buying the house and then having people live in it.
I am, yeah.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. You said pop-up. So I was like, who,
like
is
buying,
it like for a week or?
I just bring briefcases of cash, just buy all the houses. That'd be sick, honestly.
I mean, I'm whatever you're saying, I'll probably believe it.
Damn, really?
Yeah,
Maybe that's why I was so good at sales.
Why not?
If you're gullible, then I'm.
Yeah.
I'm not gullible. I see the best in people.
Damn, what if I came on here to lie about everything? That would be nuts, imagine. No, so that's a good question. So I reached out to realtors a lot of the time and do partnerships with them, because it's like, it's very mutually beneficial, because they obviously want to sell the house. Basically, like typically they just post on Instagram or like pay to like boost the post or whatever. But this is just free promo. All you have to do is let us use the house. We don't like ransack it.
Yeah.
And then in turn, you have these people with like 1,500,000 followers posting your house, and it's reaching their entire audience. So it's extremely beneficial for them. And then obviously it helps me because, you know, I'm a starving artist right now. And it gives us like a free venue to use. So, yeah.
Cool. And then, well, hold on. So how long are people in the house?
It depends. Sometimes there's more of a time constraint because they have showings and stuff like that.
Okay.
But this last time, for example, my friend Taylor Drolette, who's actually a realtor here in Austin, let us use his newest listing, which is absolutely beautiful. And we were there for about 6 hours, I would say. So
Okay, so it's like a day thing.
Yeah.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like a weekend or anything like that. We do plan to do that eventually, like content weekends where it's like a multiple day with events and stuff.
Got it.
But for now, it's just the one day.
Okay, that's cool. I was picturing like people living in it, like they have those OF houses.
Oh, I see. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like TikTok houses where
Mhm, mhm.
content creators come live and they just live together, and then
Honestly,
they just do that.
I would.
Yeah, it seems like a
Truthfully.
pretty good
Might
idea.
be the next thing to come up. I don't know.
Cool. Well, I get 1% of all royalties.
0.5.
We'll talk about it. We'll discuss.
For
I'll have my people call your people.
For sure. We'll circle back.
So what's a memorable pop-up you've done? Like, who all came together?
Well, I'm really excited about the next one that we have coming up. That one is going to be really, really big. That's going to be April 17th here in Austin. We have some really cool people like flying in for it, it's one of those things where it's like people are really flying in to come to an event that I planned, and in my head, I still don't really know. I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I'm like winging it, to be completely
The most
honest.
successful people are doing that.
Yeah,
They're just like, I'll figure it out when I get there.
Yeah, that's kind of how I've gone about everything. It's just delusional confidence is what I call it, or delusional optimism, you know? Like, you don't know 100% that everything's gonna work out, but like you do, you know, because like what other option is there? I'm not gonna live like on the streets. So, but that's pretty cool. The fact that people are flying in from like LA and Florida and a bunch of other places to come to the content day. Aside from that, though, I would say probably the last one that we did, just because I was able to collab with my friend who's a real estate agent, which was really cool to be able to help him out, and he could help me as well. And then a lot of the girls that were there were people that I don't think typically would talk to each other. They're kind of different, like, genres of people, if that makes sense, like different vibes and different types of content. So I was just kind of like standing back and looking at everyone just hanging out last time I was there. And that was like a pretty cool moment, just bringing together people who might not ever meet or collab otherwise. So, because it's easy to judge a book by its cover, especially in the social media world. So
you just set it up, they all meet, and then they kind of orchestrate whatever they want to do. It just comes together like as a team and like, let's just create.
Kind of, but also not really, because I'm like kind of type A as well. So I feel like I like to have an agenda, because what happened, so when I went to the first content house that I ever went to in LA, that was someone else's that gave me the idea. What I didn't really like about it was the lack of structure. I feel like everyone was kind of just floating around, like, what do I do? What's next? Like, what are we filming? What should we be wearing? And it was wasting a lot of time that could have been spent making more content. And so I kind of kept that in mind for my own. So I make an itinerary. It's not like set in stone. You don't have to follow it. But I think that way we at least have an idea of what to bring, if you're a girl, like what to pack, like what to wear. And I think that helps people like feel a little bit more comfortable instead of just, what am I going to? Like, what even is this? And feel like it's a bit more official, which again, I literally don't know what I'm doing, but I feel like that makes it look like it more. So yeah.
Is it like comedy focused or just skits? Or since you're organizing it, kind of creating an itinerary, like what is your direction? In some ways, it's kind of like having a podcast, but just really multidimensional.
Yeah.
You're bringing guests together and you're kind of leading what's happening, but just on a whole different level.
Yeah, I think it depends on the group of people that I have coming that time to that specific content day. So if it's mostly OF girls, I'll probably focus more so on like photo shoots. I'll bring in photographers sometimes, collab with them. Because of course it's advantageous for them as well, because they get a bunch of content with these girls who collab with them. And one photographer in particular, he started with me in the very beginning, was doing it for free just for the sake of collaboration. And now he's working with these girls who are huge on OF, and he's really like built up his name from that, which has been another dope experience. But so yeah, it just depends on the people that are there, I would say. And if there's more comedians, then it's more skit centric, but it just depends.
It's kind of an interesting idea if you were a brand and you reached out to you and you're like, I kind of want this type of influencer and people. And then you were like, make me a ton of video, like content that's either funny or whatnot. Because we have a couple products we sell, and like it got me thinking, it's like, cool, I could just hand off the product. She could talk to us.
Yeah, you're the creative director, and then the influencers make a fuck ton of content.
Yeah.
And I just like gather a group of what kind of influencers you want.
Yeah.
So for example,
and then you get paid out, and they get a little payout.
Am I a pimp? Just kidding.
No, you're a middleman.
You're kind of like a production team. You have a production team, and you're working with potential companies and people who want to blow their shit up. And by doing this, you kind of like building your network of the types of people. And then you have the ability to see many different things and kind of put them together that people can't. And so the more you do this, the more people you meet, the more you kind of know this brand would work with these like 6 people that I've worked with.
It's almost like a management, like a agency of some sort.
But many things, like it's so multi-dimensional. because we have a product.
Yeah.
We have a Two Fun Guys sauna hat.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And we, unlike trying to build like for our website or like Amazon listing, no production team or listing team, they just don't get it. And a big part of it too is we need content also for social media, and a lot of companies do. And if it's, you go to a regular production studio, it's super overpriced, looks super produced, so people don't like it. Because I don't know if you notice when you go on YouTube and now you see ads, the ads that like show up the most look like, you know, kids in like high school filming as though it's old school TikTok with the product. Like that's the quality that they keep running ads on YouTube that shows up.
People want authenticity now.
Yeah.
They've been so inundated with overproduction shit that now we have like a red flag when we see it in our brain.
That's
we
so
want
smart,
we just want real authentic shit.
And it probably wouldn't be as expensive for someone to work with you, but the return would be bigger.
Yeah. Well, no one wants to feel like they're being sold, which is so, I never like connected that to what, like to this really, but like thinking back to door, right? Like you never want to push at someone because they're going to push back. They're not going to, you know. Interesting. I wish I could like remind me of that, please. That's a great idea.
Just watch this episode again.
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, we can talk about it more.
We'll talk about it.
We could be one of the first people that maybe we do like a little experiment with you, because we have a couple things that would be cool to try it out on. Because we need photos and we need some video. And depending on, maybe we could do a lot of video that we could even post on our Two Fun Guys page to help promote some of these products that we're coming out with that we really love and believe in.
And help get you more influencers into your network.
Yeah.
Like we can experiment together because we both like have a need.
That's so interesting. So like, I feel like that's been my issue, is kind of like, how do I monetize it? Like specifically, I guess, because of course you can do sponsorships, like you could do branding, like put like a little step and repeat at the content day or something. But I feel like this makes so much more sense because it's more advantageous to them.
Totally.
It's probably going to take a while to figure out. But I think if it were me, what I would do is, depending on who, like if it's us or somebody else, coming up with like a basic 3-tier package of like simple to medium to more. And in that package, kind of like when you go to a podcast studio, it's like basic package, you get this with a couple clips and this. Another package, you get like 10 videos plus this. And then third is like, you got like $5,000 you want to throw at it, and we'll do all of this shit.
You know what's so funny is, for like the sponsorships that I was thinking of, I put down that I want to do tiers, like sponsorship tiers. So similar, but I was like, something's missing with the idea, and I'm obsessed. I love that idea. So I'm going to use it.
Brad.
Just changed my life. Only on this podcast, guys.
And then you could talk to people on the podcast about just how it goes down. I think that's a good way to probably market how it goes down.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, it's grown so organically too. Like,
yeah, I was looking at YouTube. You got quite a bit of, like, many views and hits on your each episode.
Well, that, but also the content house though, like that's just been growing really, really rapidly. And I think it's just been word of mouth. Like I'll post a collab post with some of the girls or whoever, and I'll have other people hit me up and say, hey, I want to be a part of this. Can I come to the next one? And it's girls with like a huge following. I'm like, holy shit, this is great. It's, you know, again, I literally don't know what I'm doing, but hell yeah. So pretty exciting.
I don't think you need to know what you're doing. You're just following the wave.
Well, who really does, you know?
Yeah. I think we're in a period of time where, with all this content, it's really shape-shifting a lot, and how it's going to be consumed and how it's created and all this, like this podcast studio. When I first moved to Austin 4 years ago, I wasn't aware of any. So people have told me there's some, but to now how it is, there's so many studios. They're so easy to just make a payment, like come in, show up, schedule online. There's so many clip editors. It was not like barely any of that existed at all.
It's a great business, honestly.
And it's only been 4 years. Can you imagine, as AI accelerates things, you got to get more creative, like, because the same shit's not going to keep working.
True.
Like, not at all.
No, 100%. Yeah, I guess that's like the most important thing, is like evolving with the times, and like people who don't, you know, it's not really going to work out. But yeah, that's why I kind of wanted to integrate the content days as well. I feel like just something different that isn't just me sitting talking to other people, because I love doing that. But I was like, okay, personally, I feel like I always want to be like, know what my next move is and know how I can grow what I'm currently doing. So I think it's a good way to do it and also monetize it further.
Yeah, we were thinking about like we're trying to
We're gonna
integrate.
start like a rival content house. Just kidding.
Well,
Fun guy house.
just like
Yeah.
coming for you.
Wait, why is that kind
new
of
creative ideas, and then like we're gonna start having DJs on, have them do like a whole guest mix so you can listen to, and then actually interview them after, or maybe start doing sets or music events where we record it in different venues and whatnot. And it's like, I think you're in the same thought process. You're like, I like podcasting, but there's so much creativity
Like
you
what
can
else?
do,
Yeah.
and it can blend more and more. Also, how can I make my podcast even different, right?
Yeah. Why, like DJs specifically? Do you guys do music or like what inspired that?
I mean, he for sure.
Really?
Yeah, I've been a DJ for 13 years.
Oh my gosh! Hell yeah! Nice.
Yeah, and we're both huge in the music scene. Not so much now because we've just been busy, but
yeah.
grew up in like the rave scene and the music scene.
Really?
And it's always been a huge part of our lives. And we want to be able to not only like make the podcast more fun and like you were saying, have an extra piece of flair that's not just sit on a couch and talk into a microphone, but also how do we highlight musicians? How do we highlight DJs? And
that's
then
so cool.
like have a guest mix, right? It's like, oh, I listen to a podcast all the time, but then, hey, episode 106 is a guest mix from this DJ.
That's sick.
Yeah.
I love that. What was the first show you guys ever saw? Like EDM show? Is that the term? EDM?
Like back then it was like raves, and it was just some underground shit.
Yeah.
And who knows what it's at.
You don't know who the artist was. It was like a $5, dingy in a basement, like
Dang. Like I was gonna say mine was Skrillex.
sketchy
But
place. Yeah. Eventually
not
saw
that.
Skrillex, yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like random
Yeah.
DJs playing like
Interesting.
warehouses.
You're like it was in Berlin. We were in like a dungeon.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much. No, they look like
that's sick.
dungeons. It's grimy.
It's honestly really cool.
I miss those
Yeah, and they
days.
usually eventually
Grimy
shut down after a couple months.
Totally, because they're like, oh, this was actually a drug ring the entire time.
Yeah,
But back when
just
drugs just didn't kill you, when you would actually have a chance to live.
When I first started going to raves, it was in high school. It was like 2010 was my first rave. And me and two friends, we went to, and we were like the first ones to go to a rave. We were like the pioneers.
Yeah.
And nobody knew what that was. Everyone had their preconceived notions of raves. And they thought that we were going to get stabbed with drugs. And like, all this crazy
drugs is
shit.
crazy. I can only hope. I'm like, damn, that sounds
I'm
crazy.
like, free drugs? Let's fucking
Hell
go.
yeah, like-
So we go to this rave and everybody's like freaking out when we come back, and we convince a couple people that, hey, it's not that bad. It's actually a fucking awesome time. And one kid came with us to a rave, came back to school on Monday and told everybody, well, one of the things that they would do was they had Vicks. Remember the Vicks? Like Vicks Vapo Rub? They had like these little sticks of Vicks, and you could pop the top off and blow into it, and you could like blow it on someone's face and your whole face would get cold.
Oh.
And when you're high on Molly, it
Right.
feels incredible.
Especially like real Molly.
Like real pills. That felt amazing.
Go to good old fashioned Tesla. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Dolphin, good old days. And so somebody did that to him, and he goes back to school on Monday and he told everybody that someone blew ecstasy in his face.
Stop.
And then we became the outcasts very quickly.
Oh, no.
For being the drug addicts at school.
Yeah, because you're a high school kid, you're like, they're doing bad stuff.
Yeah.
Really?
They're doing heroin.
Yeah. Oh, people thought it was heroin, meth.
Dude,
The worst
everyone
shit.
in my school was on drugs, I fear, but I also grew up in a very bad area. There were people like selling drugs in my high school. It was nuts. I feel like if you weren't doing drugs, you were like a loser.
Yeah, you pussy.
Which is
Do some drugs.
unfortunate. Like my frontal lobe probably like disintegrated from all the stuff I did, but whatever. Like the house parties were just there were parents there at the house, and kids
Really?
just like, yeah, it was insane.
The parents DJing the,
yeah,
the
literally,
parties.
they're buying us the drugs. I'm
DJ
like,
mom, let's go.
just all like twerking upside down and shit.
Do lines off my mom's back.
Body shots off someone's mom. Like,
Hell yeah.
I mean,
I would go to that
listen,
party for sure.
I did. I
Yeah.
fear, but only it was my mom. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was nuts. It was a good time, but definitely like probably fried a lot of brain cells. But
Oh, for sure.
yeah, I saw Skrillex on the Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites tour.
very nice.
His first sold out tour, I think, when he left like from first to last.
Mm-hmm.
And front row, it was so sick. It was really.
Oh, was
really
that like
fun.
2009?
2010? No, like 2010. Yeah,
2010,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, because I graduated 2011, so I was like a junior.
Mhm.
Yeah,
We're the same year.
nice, very cool.
Yeah. Skrillex, that was the first person to really get me deep into the scene. Like I had listened to like house music when I was younger, and then I heard Skrillex and I was like, what the fuck
Yeah.
is this magic? Two washing machines fucking. I have to listen to more of
That's
this.
exactly it. Like,
Mhm.
it's just like, because I was into, when I still am, like Screamo, the little emo music and
Mhm.
stuff. And I feel like it was that because he came from that, but it was like electronic.
It was like computers making Screamo.
Yeah, literally, to be honest, pretty much. So I was into it. It was
Yeah.
a good time.
Brent is finally coming to the dark side of bass music.
Yeah, I've been going to a couple shows.
Yeah. He's a trance and techno guy.
Yeah.
But now
Okay.
he's opening And he's expanded my horizon into trance. I'm expanding his horizon into bass.
Like, in all honesty, all music is good. You just have to, be in a place where you're open-minded and kind of expose yourself to it. And then just seeing it live with the right people and finding your artist in that genre. Like, I really think maybe there's certain genres that you're just like a hard no, but I feel like any genre from country to hip hop, like you can find where it resonates with you.
Yeah.
If you just, you're kind of like open-minded to it.
Aside from electronic music, what do you guys think is the best genre and the worst, if you had to pick?
The best genre?
Actually, fuck, marry, kill music genres.
I would.
Let me sit up for this one.
I'd fuck hip hop.
Oh, okay. It's a solid choice.
Because you said EDM is out of these.
Yeah,
like no house, no bass music. Because I would fuck a dubstep for sure.
Solid choice, but that's also a good choice. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'd fuck hip hop. I feel like I would marry country just because I don't really listen to a lot of country, but that's like a good wife.
Yeah, it should make you like a lot of food, like hearty meals.
Hearty meals. Should be working out, tilling the field. Yeah,
for sure.
I could sire many children with a country wife.
100%.
And then kill. Who would I kill? Probably like K-pop or something.
Oh, okay.
I'd kill R&B. I fucking hate R&B. There's some good track. I mean, there's a lot of good tracks, but if I never had to listen to it again, I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. It's so whiny.
Yeah.
It's just like,
I would fuck R&B.
Maybe if more people felt that way, R. Kelly never would have done what he did. He wouldn't have risen to fame.
Valid point.
So
exactly.
To be fair, he might be right. But yeah.
I would probably fuck, because when I lift, I either listen to electronic or I listen to like hard screamy music. So I'd probably fuck that because it'd probably really be fun to fuck. And then marry, damn, I'd probably marry, I don't know, like down-tempo ambient sounds.
Oh. like a pan flute? What are we talking
like shit you listen to before you go to bed.
Like meditation.
Yeah.
Binaural beats.
Like frequencies, like
just
450 like
Mary's
hertz or
insight
whatever.
time.
It's the only thing. I want that person to calm my mind, and it calms my mind.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. What about you?
Interesting. This is gonna be a tough one, guys. So I feel like I'm gonna have to say fuck like screamo for sure, like very like aggressive emo, because I have that was my past, before I moved to Lakeway. Dated a singer or two, and then marry. I don't think country. I feel like hot take, but a lot of guys in that scene who are very like hyper masculine are like a little closeted from what I hear.
In country?
Yeah. So I don't want to have like a Kris Jenner situation. Like when we have a bunch of kids and he's like, guess what? By the way, I'm a girl.
Surprise! I'm going now.
I'm going hunting now.
Yeah, exactly. Me and the same guy I've gone with for the past 30 years. We're going hunting. I'm like, fuck, like, please, no. So I might have to kill country just at the risk of that happening.
Sure,
I could get down with that.
Which I am an ally. I support it, but don't want that in my marriage personally. And then wait, what's left?
Kill? No, fuck, marry, kill.
So marry.
Marry.
I'm not ready for commitment. I don't know. Maybe it seems like a little overwhelmed. Marry, I would say, I'm going to say rap, which like is probably another hot take, but I feel like we'd be doing a bunch of fun shit. I'd never be bored. There's probably like shootouts and stuff. If I die, it would be kind of iconic. If I get like kidnapped, it's like ransom or something from like another rapper that's like a rival.
A lot of misogyny in hip hop though, so you're going to deal with that.
I think I'm just used to it.
Some domestic abuse.
Yeah, I would dabble,
Okay, sure.
I might do it back. I don't know. Who's
There
to
you
say?
go.
I might like that one movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez. That could be me. Was that her? I think.
I don't know.
She's like with this guy who's super abusive, but she like learns boxing secretly and just like beats his ass one day. So I think that would be me.
It's a good plot.
I'd like train on the low, like secretly, and then I'd be ready for if that ever happened.
Very good.
So that's my final answer.
Lock it in. It's your
All right.
final answer.
Perfect.
That's pretty damn
Yep.
good.
So got to marry rap, I guess.
It's valid.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like living in danger.
Are you still producing podcast episodes, or you've taken a break?
I am, and I actually have some that I need to post, but the thing about me is when I feel that I'm losing excitement for something, I take a little hiatus and kind of reconfigure what to do next, I guess. So right now, I am figuring out how I want to adjust the podcast to feel better about what I'm posting. Not that I think it's bad. I don't. But I just feel like there's something missing and I don't know what it is. I think it's more of like when I first started, I would talk more about my life, my friends' lives, more of my personality kind of showed. And people resonated with that. They'd message me and say, oh, who's this guy that you were talking about? You gave him a nickname, but can I know who it really is? And they were invested. So I talked to my friend's manager recently, and he was agreeing that more authenticity and just showing more of my own life and personality again is going to do a lot better than having on people who might have a following, but then their fans watch that one episode and they don't watch the other ones. They just come to watch the person they're actually a fan of, but they don't actually know who I am yet.
Right.
So right now what I'm doing is kind of figuring out how I want to rework things a bit to make it more how it was initially.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to post anything that I'm not super proud of until then.
Yeah.
I think solo episodes for you would do really well. I could totally visualize seeing that and those clips being really well.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, you think a lot of people like even just produce here, they don't even do podcasts. They just do that stuff where they're kind of just talking about themselves, but then maybe they're giving tips or whatever it is. I think, yeah, you could just do solo episodes, just brainstorm thinking about obviously things come to you very easily, like thinking about what's happening in your life, what's happening with this, and you could just talk about it.
Do you guys want to produce it and just give me ideas? Just tell me what to do.
I feel like if I can't afford us.
Yeah, no, I definitely can, honestly.
If I sat down with you for like an hour and like really dug into like who you are, I could easily do that.
That would be sick.
And then you just
honestly.
combine it with ChatGPT and we can figure it out.
I literally forget that exists. It's so helpful.
It's so helpful.
Yeah. I feel like I'm such like a Facebook mom, honestly. Like I forget that you can actually use it and I don't know, like what you can even use it for.
As you slowly use it more, there comes a point that like just recently happened to me where you kind of have a relationship with it now, in that it's like,
here we go.
Yeah.
And it's like your assistant. It's
Brent's going to start fucking the robot.
I know, like cheating on the frequency videos already.
Yeah.
That marriage was so short-lived. Like.
But I even used it for our podcast. Like I was like struggling with deciding, I know what clips I want to show, but also what does the audience and the algorithm and what's trending work. So now last time I took the show notes, I threw it in there and I was like, okay, based on these timestamps, the chapter titles of the timestamps, whatever they say, what 3 or 5 or however many clips I want, do you think will do the best, and tell me why. And you can start to, over time, from what Tony has been telling me, is train it to become even better of what specifically you're trying to get it to do.
Wait, this is actually phenomenal.
Yeah, it's amazing.
No, it's brilliant. Like I never would have thought to do that. That's another thing. There's just so many ways that you can use it that I wouldn't even think to do.
That's why you just got to keep fucking around with it.
Yeah, it literally has all the information of the universe just in it. And then you can train this servant that never gets tired and never sleeps.
I mean, tell her how you trained your sales, like how you did.
Well, it's almost like retraining our brains too, because we're so used to having to do it ourselves. It's like,
Or Google and kind of figure out through the searches what's the actual answer.
Exactly. Yeah. So
like you like tell her how you train some of your sales chats.
So I work in sales consulting. I like build sales teams, similar to what you do. Build sales teams, train sales teams, all that fun stuff. And so when I have a new client and we're working on their sales pitch, what I used to do is go through the entire fucking pitch and rewrite it line by line and all this stuff because people are bad at sales.
100%.
They're
Honestly,
very bad at it.
That sounds super fun to me. I love that.
No, I'm a nerd on it too. I like doing it, but when you have a fuck ton of clients, it's a lot of work.
For sure, yeah.
So I've trained ChatGPT on all these documents on like what a good pitch should sound like and what are the components of it and what are the frameworks that psychologically get someone to really buy in and all this stuff and like what are the word tracks that make it more impactful. So I trained ChatGPT on all this shit. And then whenever I take a new client's pitch, I put it in there and I say, here's the original, here's my rewrite, take everything that I've done and learn that. And now it's at the point where I can just take somebody's shitty pitch, stick it in ChatGPT and say, rewrite it in the style of me. And it'll just spit out the way I would do it. And that saves me 30 minutes per pitch.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And I do the same thing with like somebody's offer if they have a new offer or their discovery sales script.
That's genius. Damn.
Yeah. So you can train this thing to be your best friend.
What do you think is the biggest mistake that people make, like sales pitch wise? I don't know if the audience cares to hear about this, but I think it's interesting. But
yeah, the biggest mistake sales pitch wise?
Yeah, just like overall of like every pitch that you've seen, just the underlying factor that you would say you see the most. That's the biggest issue.
I say there's two issues. One is they rely on the pitch to do the sales.
Mm.
It's not the pitch's job to do sales. The sale is made way before you pitch. And you probably know this. Like, it's made in building trust and building urgency before you ever say, okay, here's what I do. You have to ask the right questions. The pitch is just making sure that we're confirming that you didn't fuck up the sale.
Yeah.
It's like, this is what I do. Let's solve it. The other biggest mistake, I think, is just not having a good framework, because a good pitch should align where it's like, hey, here's what most people are doing.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why it doesn't work. Here's the problems that it's causing. So instead, what I do is this, and this is why it's better, and these are the benefits, et cetera.
It's exactly what I would tell my reps. It's like, there was like a skeleton that I would tell them. It's like, who's the customer? Who are you?
Mm-hmm.
What do they have currently and what's wrong with it? Why you're there and how you can fix it, you know? And that was like the whole little skeleton.
Totally. And it should be, honestly, like, I like to pre-frame the pitches and really like coach somebody through the right way to think before you actually pitch. Because what you should do, the way I see it, is you're shutting down all these different options. Like, the prospect thinks I could do this, 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 and this to solve my problem. Your job as a sales rep is to block off every fucking option so that there's only one logical choice and it's yours. So how do we make that option over there look like shit? That option look like it's way too much work. That option look like it's not going to work in the first place. You're left with one, and it's my solution.
Without making it too obvious that you're like shitting on all the other options.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's finesse for sure.
God, I miss sales, honestly, guys. I might go back. Who knows?
Do it.
Might dabble.
It's a good time.
You basically are using sales skills all the time with what you're trying to build.
Everything is sales.
True.
Everything you do. You're building a business, it's sales.
You're trying to convince people to do this thing, and you're doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
No, 100%. I was telling my friend that too. That's kind of why I like doing the content days and bringing in the sponsors and everything now, because it's like you're pitching them. And it's a little different, but not really. But I feel like it's the best feeling, like showing up to someone's house. They literally don't know you're going to be there. They don't know you're showing up. They're already pissed. They don't want a door-to-door salesman. And then seeing their expression change from like just annoyance to knowing that they're going to buy is the best feeling ever.
Yeah, that's got to be wild.
Yeah.
Door-to-door is the craziest type of sales.
It was psychotic.
It builds so much character.
Yeah. That's
and
why
those are the
like,
best. Like, all the sales reps that I train, the best ones were either door-to-door salespeople initially, or did a fuck ton of cold calling.
Yeah. If you can do door-to-door for more than a year, you probably are pretty good at sales, I would say.
Do you think with your sales knowledge and experience that you could create content to help sell products and like orchestrate the video in a certain way to make sales with it?
Maybe.
Do you think you could translate that into a video to sell a product?
I mean, I could do anything.
She'll at least figure it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I don't know how to now, I'm going to figure it out. So yes.
I bet you, I bet you could, because I imagine if you could think about how to take making a sell if somebody fucking doesn't want it, which is kind of like, you know, social media where this video pops up and you're like, hey, what are you doing at my door? Show me something.
Yeah. Well, how does it benefit them? Like, create like a need, I guess. But yeah, I'm sure I could figure it out. These are great ideas, guys. I'm going to watch this episode back and take notes on this and how to fix my life.
It's a good testimonial right there.
Honestly, yeah. Today, they changed my life, guys.
You could experiment with our products, and yeah, we're down to help you. And
totally.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that. And honestly, like, genuinely, it's really great advice too. Like, things I wouldn't have thought of otherwise. So,
I mean, we can tell you're very creative, and we love being super creative. I mean, that's why we do this too. Is like, we want to experiment with any ideas we have coming up.
You know what? Y'all should, if you're open to it, I'm going to start another idea. And like the last thing, I don't know how much time we have left, but aside from the content days, I was like, what if we have like a content planning day? Because I feel like a lot of the time we get there and people have ideas, and by the time we kind of figure out what we want to do, who wants to collaborate on what, we're already a few hours in. So we wasted more time. So it's like, why don't we have a day the week before where we all sit down in like a little boardroom moment, order lunch, and just plan exactly what we want to do.
Take a bunch of mushrooms.
Exactly. Yeah. So many. Figure out who wants to collab with who and just like nail it all down then. So when we show up, we can just film. But if you guys would want to come to one of those, I think we're going to do the first one in April, where it's just a bunch of content people kind of figuring out what they want to film at the content day, or even if they want to collab outside of it, and just networking and stuff like that. So
cool. Yeah, we're down.
Oh yeah, that's good. Well, you guys are welcome to come. I'll let you know when we have a date. I'm just thinking the weekend before April 17th, so the 11th or something. So around that time. Yeah,
that could work. We're gone for 13th to the 19th, so if it's that weekend, we could probably pull it off.
Okay, yeah, I think it'll be right before that, so it's perfect. Sweet. Well, I'll let you guys know when I have it nailed down, but
definitely
exciting.
Keep us in the loop. Yeah, we'll do some collaboration for sure.
Oh, yeah,
see a lot happening.
That's a
big
fun
things coming, guys.
Yeah, that's a fun idea too, because I imagine a lot of entrepreneurs or creators are like us. We got multiple things going on, and then we do this. You need space. Like you said, you're kind of taking a break from your podcast because you probably are, in some ways like me, where you need to see the vision of like where this is going inside of your mind instead of aimlessly producing.
100%.
And you need space. But when you come together with other people, it's like how Rogan always talks about. That's why he likes to have a comedy place, because it's a place for him to sharpen his skills. And being around other comedians, you just get this community and so many more creative ideas.
It like inspires you again, almost. Yeah. Because it can be kind of isolating as a, not to sound like, oh, it's so hard. But in content creation, like you don't really have to be around other people if you don't want to, you know? So I think it kind of helps you feel more inspired and less isolated as well to do stuff like that.
And I think you need a mix of both to have good ideas. You need
100%.
the invigoration from other people and that energy, but then you process it when you're alone. So if you only have alone time, you're not getting the energy. It's only processing. But what are you processing? There's nothing there. And if you only have invigoration, you have all this energy, but like you don't have time to peel it apart and pull it apart and figure out what to do with it and then process it.
Well said.
Yeah.
Did you go to college, or like what's your background or just sales?
Right the fuck out of college.
As you should. Listen, as everyone should in my opinion. I'm
like 3 credits or 6 credits away from an associate's degree. And I was like, you know what?
I was almost
fuck this, dude. I'm out.
I went for 3 years and then I was like, this is never going to happen.
Yeah, no, I'm done.
I'm out of community college.
I failed the same math class 3 times. I was like, I'm done.
He said, ITT Tech, not for me. No, my dad looked me to write my shit and he's like, if you drop out, I will be so disappointed. And I was like, fuck, I can't do it. I got to keep going. So that's the sole reason I kept going, because I hated it so much. It was the literal worst, but whatever. At least he's happy.
There you go.
But yeah. And I guess I have a degree for some reason. I don't know. If anyone needs me to like hold a beaker or something, I can do that. Like, if anyone needs me to like solve a quadratic equation, I guess maybe. But
I mean,
impressive if you can do a quadratic formula equation.
Maybe. I could dabble. I'd figure it out.
Can you say the quadratic formula right now?
I don't want to get it wrong. Wait, I think I'm thinking the formula for a line. Isn't that like y equals
A B?
No, is it the mx
equals something over a line over x.
They don't want to hear this. I'm like, I'm sorry, guys.
Welcome to the Two Fun Guys math hour.
Pull out a whiteboard, guys. Let's go. Like, I brought this workbook for us to do. Let's get started.
Yeah, Bryce, take this logo down. We're going to need a whiteboard. Let's just start doing some fucking math.
Exactly. My lab coat's just on. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, this has been really fun, guys.
Super fun. Where can people find you and learn more about the alternative?
My Instagram is rebecca.tx. My podcast Instagram is y'alternative TV. And just go to my bio on rebecca.tx and you'll find everything there for like the content days, the podcast, and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Fuck yeah. Big things coming.
Yeah. Big things coming. Hell yeah, brother.